and then you're typically free to go, do whatever you want, because you're in processing. You're not at your duty station. You're not working. You're just doing paperwork and that kind of thing. I don't know why it takes so long, but yeah. So we would go down to the beach regularly, and one night we were drinking, and I decided I would get some Robitussin, and I didn't want anyone to know that I was going to get Robitussin. So I basically snuck off by myself, stopped at a 7-Eleven, got a bottle of Robitussin, and drank it, and then walked around Waikiki basically by myself. And the thing with Robitussin is when I take it, I don't sleep. I can't. I stay up the entire evening, and I usually don't get sleep until the next night. And so this night I was walking around. It got to be about 5 o'clock in the morning. The sun was up, and I was basically just kind of at that point very exhausted. Just kind of not in a very good state of mind. I mean, it was not a very good evening. But so I'm walking up the beach, 5 or 6 a.m. This local Hawaiian guy, I don't know if he was actually Samoan or whatever their ethnicity is called, but he had that kind of dark. He might have been Filipino. I don't know, but he offers me a ride back to the base. He could tell that I was in the Army, and he asked if I wanted to ride back. And I'm like, yeah. I don't even know where I'm at. I didn't know how to get back. I had ridden with the other guys to the beach, so I didn't know how to get back. I didn't know where I was at. I was in pretty. I was not a bit vulnerable, maybe. And so he offered me a ride, and you can probably already guess where this story is going. As soon as I got in the car, he tells me he's horny. And I'm like, this is just great. I don't want to deal with this right now. So I got out of the car, but then I realized, like I said, I didn't know where I was at. I probably could have gotten a ride from somebody else, but I would basically have been asking total strangers for a ride. And I just thought, no, I'll just tough it out. I'll just hold out until I get back to the base. So but he continued. Once I got back in the car, he just kept saying, I'm so horny. I took ecstasy, and he said, I would really love to suck your dick. And I was like, what? That's not the way I kind of saw that going. And he was almost begging me. And I guess you could say he was begging me. He was like, please, please, please. And he was like, I'm doing you a favor. You do me a favor. Let me suck your dick. And there was that part of me that was like, well, I always knew I was going to try it at some point, but this really isn't the best time to try it. And so I kept telling him no. I said no. I said I'm not interested. But he kept trying, and at that point, that my curiosity just got the best of me, and I was like, all right, go ahead. So he pulls the car over, and he starts giving me a blowjob, and I was totally uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable, I made him stop. And after I made him stop, then he kind of was like, all right, I get it, or whatever, and he just took me back to the base. And so to say that was a homosexual experience is a little bit of an understatement. Overstatement, I'm not sure, because it really wasn't even. It might have been all of like 3 or 4 seconds. And but the damage had been done. I got back to the base, and I was now a criminal. I was the lowest person on the entire base. I was the if a whore is the worst thing you can be in a church. Because if you've heard that phrase, sweating like a whore in church, I was now sweating like a gay guy in the army. And because, and even though like I said, I was uncomfortable and I made him stop, I kind of felt like I'd already crossed the line. I felt like I had gone, I'd kind of gone past the point of no return almost, I would say, because I knew that even though I was uncomfortable, I knew I was going to at least try it again, I guess. Or, I don't know. But it stuck. I mean, there was no, I felt like, there was no washing the sin away, I guess. And so yeah, that was a stain, I would say, on my army experience. If I had not had that experience, that specific gay experience, I might have had a completely different experience in the army. I may not have. Like I said, my anxiety was already kind of keeping me making me not enjoy myself. But it got pretty bad there for a while. It started out. I told a few of the guys that I was with I was there. God, I can't even think of how to say that. There with from basic training, and I told them as soon as I got back to the barracks. We were staying in barracks during the in-processing, and I came back, and there was probably like 10 guys in a room, and I just walked into the room. It was 6:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I just let a guy suck my dick to everybody, and some of them were just like, whatever, and some of them were like, I always knew you were a fag. And that kind of thing, which that to me was not that was okay. The bad part was that once I was sent to my duty station, some of those guys went to the same duty station, and I thought, this is going to spread all over. Everybody's going to know. And so for basically the first year that I was there, I lived in a kind of state of terror. And I could not walk in front of a formation without thinking that these people know, or somebody knows, or like I said, it felt like almost like I was behind enemy lines. I felt like I was a criminal, almost like walking in front of a police station. And I kept thinking I should just tell everybody, just get it out, just put it out there. And for the first year, I was thinking about that constantly, but I just did not have the balls at that time to do it. But it got to the point where people were joking about me being a spy, and then people after a while started telling me that I was weird, and because of how I was acting, and that just it was like I was just like this. My self-esteem, my time there was just going through the floor. And so after about a year, I finally just came out and just told people. I just started telling people that I told my platoon sergeants. I told the other guys in my platoon, because they were the ones that I was most concerned about. And most of them were, when they weren't like mad, or they didn't talk shit about me. Not to me, anyways. But by then, I felt like the damage had kind of been done, and I was pretty much the loser of the platoon at that point, or even I don't want to say of the company, but at least of the platoon. But I just felt like I could not get any respect after that point. But I was still stuck in that mode where I was trying to please other people, where I was still in that scientist state of mind of like, what do I have to do to get people to like me? What do I have to do to get people to respect me? And that kind of thing. And it was almost like the harder I tried, the worse I failed. And it kind of started to occur to me at that point that that's what I was doing. That I was basically bowing to these people. By the time I got out of the Army, I was in there for 3 years, and it was around the third year that I started to realize that that's kind of what I was doing. And I got out of the Army. I did not want to re-enlist after my 3 years was up, and I went home and didn't really change my behavior too much as far as people pleasing goes. I mean, I was still